What's up and welcome to another episode of It's Tip Top Fishing. My name is Keaton and this is a couple of top tips to stalk for carp at Bergsig Trout Farm. Let's get to it. There you go. Just like that. What is stalking and what is carp? Carp is a type of fish, and stalking for carp is a method whereby it is very similar to hunting. So where you go out and you are looking for your quarry, which is your carp, and you try to not be detected while offering them a little something to eat, and it's a very visual type of carp fishing. You're not just blindly casting a papgooi 100 meters and then leaving it until something pulls on your line. You're actively stalking fish. So, tip number one. Tip number one is got to do with what I'm wearing right now. I've got my OG hat on, right here, and then I've got my glasses on. You've got to see the fish. Now, the reason why I'm wearing a hat and sunglasses is the hat puts cover on my sunglasses so they don't reflect back at me, and the sunglasses are polarized. So polarizing, what that does is it breaks up some of the glare on the top of the water and lets you see through the water a little bit better. So why do you need that? Well, basically when you're stalking, you've got to see the fish before they see you. And if they see you, they're going to spook and they're not going to eat, and then you're not going to catch. But if you get to spot them before they spot you, you now know where they're chilling, where they feel safe, and where they're going to eat. Then you can offer bait in a very subtle way, a little bit, a handful of bait over where they're sitting at that time, and then they can start eating, feeling comfortable, and only then do you add a rig in. So when you are looking for these fish, tip number two is you've got to be stealthy. You've got to not walk right next to the water like an idiot, because the fish can see more than you think. They have got polarized eyes, so they can literally see through the glare, through the water, and see your dumb ass walking right past going, where are the fish? They are on alert all the time. They're looking for fish eagles, they are looking for otters, they are looking for predators all the time. So you have got to be stealthy. So what I suggest is when you are looking for fish, you walk away from the bank. So you look just enough so you can see into the water, but you walk away from the bank so that there's less of you that the fish can see. If you're walking right on the water bank, right on the edge of the water, your stomping is going to be sent through the water, so they're going to feel it, they're going to hear you coming, and then you've got this big body that is walking right next to the water. They know what a fisherman is, and they're not going to eat while you're there. So be stealthy. So step three. What is number three? My third tip. Use a bait that is easily consumable. So something that is ideally cheap and something that the carp absolutely love. Certain baits that work great for stalking for me: sweet corn out of a can or the frozen type. They are absolutely fantastic. I've never seen a carp swim past some sweet corn without stopping to eat it unless they saw me. So that's a great bait. Second one is peas. Frozen peas or peas in a can, absolutely great. I prefer the frozen peas because it works better as a hook bait. The ones in a can is a bit mushy and they fall off too easily. Okay, then the next tip. While you are looking and walking around the dam, don't only commit to one spot. So before you've even set up your rod, before you've taken your rod out of the car, take your bait and go walkies. Walk slowly, walk gently, and walk carefully. Go around the dam and pick certain spots that you think the carp have been, will be going, or are currently there. And drop in a handful of bait, and when you drop that handful of bait, you drop it in a spot where you can see whether they've been there or not. So there's no point in dropping off a piece of bait or some bait at 6 meters of water when you're never going to see whether they're there or not. Rather do it in really shallow water. I like to do it really shallow water, so that if they have been there, there's either a dust cloud when they've been there, bubbles at the surface, like those little, it's like frothy kind of bubbles where they've disturbed the bottom, and then those little frothy bubbles have come to the top. Or you can actually see the fish themselves in that area. You might see a tail flicking, or they might be swimming in that area. So that's when you know they have been there. Once they have been to that spot, then you can commit your hook bait to it. Okay, it might seem pretty dumb, this next step. This next tip is don't forget your bloody net. Because when you are stalking, you're always moving and checking and looking through things and finding the next spot. But it's very, very easy to forget your damn net. Then you get this fish of a lifetime on your rod, and you're reeling it in and you're having the best time, and then you go, how the hell am I gonna land it? So always remember to bring your net. With me, I've got to remember a net, a mat, and a camera, because I've got to take Yerks with me every time. Then, next tip, the rig. The rig is the simplest rig you could use, and the rod reel setup can also be the simplest ever. So the first thing you need is a Nash size 6 or 8 twister hook. It's a very nice hook because when you tie that on with a knotless knot, it's got a very aggressive turn. So when you move it across your hand, it turns quickly, and when a carp's going to suck it in, it's going to do the same thing with a carp's mouth. Then the next thing is you need a tiny size 10 swivel, tiny little thing. Then 8-pound fluorocarbon. That's all you need. So about 20 centimeters away from your knotless knot and your twist size 6 twister hook, you've got your swivel, and then you've got about, I'd say, 2 meters or 1.5 meters of 8-pound fluorocarbon to make that all disappear quite nicely. Because stealth is on top of the water, you've got to be stealthy, and then underneath the water, you've also got to make sure that the carp don't see your rig. That's why I don't use leads, I don't use anti-tangle sleeves, because you go to venues that the water is clear. When you go to a venue like Bergsig, which is perfect for stalking, you can see things from a mile away, but when the carp can see your rig from a mile away or see you from a mile away, you've got to adapt to that and make that better. So what I do that very simple rig, which works every time, but is very, very difficult for the carp to see. Okay, second last tip, second last tip is the rod you use has got to be able to cast something light. So I used to have a 5-foot Pioneer, little wet noodle with a 500 reel on it and 5-pound braid. It's fantastic for stalking. But today I'm using something different because my 5-foot rod is now a 4.5-foot rod because I broke the tip off by mistake. So got to get that fixed. So today I'm using a Pioneer Traveler tournament rod that I got from Mia's Woodmead. Fantastic shop, it's got bloody everything. Make sure to go there and check it out, they're wonderful guys. And then I've got a 2500 ST Shimano reel. I'm a big Shimano fan for reels. I absolutely love them, not sponsored by them, but they're amazing. So I've got that little setup with I think it's 20-pound braid or 15-pound braid. It's very light, and I can cast my rig, which is currently a hook and 3 millies on it, and that works really well. Okay, and then last tip is the most important tip. I saved the best for last. So that is the venue. You've got to pick the correct venue when you're stalking fish or want to stalk fish. Not all venues you can stalk at, or you can try, but it's going to be very difficult. What you're looking for in a venue that is great for stalking is, number one, there's got to be plenty of fish. Number two, you've got to have clear water. So you've got to be able to see the fish. If the water is super muddy, you're not going to see them, because even if they're this far under the surface, because the water's so unclear. So that's what you've got to make sure the water is clear. So Bergsig, where I'm at right now, is absolutely fantastic for that. The main big dam is almost gin clear water with massive fish in it. That's great. And then I'm at the stock ponds at the moment, which is one of my favorite places to stalk fish. This middle dam is great. It's got plenty of mid-sized fish, not big fish, like up to about 6-7 kilos. And then there's quite a bit of fish in there, so it's great to come here if you just want to catch a fish and have a good time. So the middle dam is good. Top dam, if you want to, top dam of the 3 dams, if you want to challenge yourself, there is some big fish, I think up to 15 kilos, and then the bottom dam, same thing, up to 15 kilos. If you want to go to the main dam, the big specimen dam, that is up to 21 kilos. And Tace is busy, or the owner of Bergsig is currently building a second specimen dam here. I'm very excited for that. It looks as deep as the main dam. There's already 20 carp in it, and every day they are building better and better things on it, like they're building a jetty, and they're going to stock it full of absolutely monstrous carp. Typical Bergsig, big common buttes. There you go. Just like that. Yay! This fish went off quite quickly. A little bit too quickly for me because I almost lost my rod. Oh, don't go in those reeds. This fish is fighting hard and I can't put any more pressure on it because it's 8-pound line. Yes, go into open water. Yes, go. That was one hell of a run. Went halfway across the dam. So there you go, he's on show for you. It's very hot today, so I'm going to quickly put him back. But yeah, a little 4-kilo fish caught. I was fishing for, I think, a grand total of 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. And I caught this lovely fish. If you do the right things, in the right places, with the right bait, the right tactics, you can catch fish like this at Bergsig Trout Farm. Bergsig Trout Farm. That is it for this episode of It's Tip Top Fishing. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment, do all those cool things. If you guys would like a 10% discount of Deeper products or a 10% discount of all kinds of things like tracker stuff at cmfcarp.co.za. All those links and cool things are in the description. If you want to support Tip Top Fishing, there's a Patreon link at the bottom if you can buy me a coffee, if you would keep me doing videos like this for you guys. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Till next time, tight lines, guys.